Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Josh Wittenkeller, or Jwittz, Chuggaaconroy, and Ted from BrainScratchComms to continue our discussion on Pokemon's 20th anniversary. So let's get back to it. But yeah, going off from the cards, the digitally remastered movies, and to me, it's actually kind of strange that they're not releasing them on Blu-ray.
They are on Blu-ray.
Well, they are.
There's
for
a 3-pack Blu-ray.
The first three.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is just a digital version of that set.
Yeah, you can get all three in one Blu-ray set. It's a box set. The art actually looked pretty cool. It was on Amazon earlier today. It might be down. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was at least up within a few weeks ago. I pre-ordered it. I think it was a little pricey for what you're getting. It
was like $35, I think it was.
The Blu-rays don't even have the special features that the old DVDs used to have. Oh. But, and it's a big butt. We're talking, Snorlax-sized butt. They are the first time I think we get them in the original theatrical dimensions, where it's the 16:9 actually will fill up your full big TV, because all the old releases of it I think were in 4:3, or would not fill it up, because most people with their old school TVs, they didn't want to have the quote unquote black boxes in the way for widescreen.
I remember that.
So I think these are the first wide releases of those three, which will be nice.
Do you happen to know if they're going to come with the Pikachu shorts? Because some versions of the DVDs do not have the Pikachu shorts with all these movies. And I like at least the first two quite a lot.
My gut says no, which is a shame, because I love the summer vacation stuff.
Oh,
I was just watching through those recently for my Pika-Blue video, and the nostalgia hit me really hard.
They did the Snorlax. They try to get the Togepi and the Execute egg down from the tree, and it's so great. I love summer vacation so much.
I think it would probably just come with those. I can look it up right now.
I'm also not confident we're going to get the Mewtwo origin thing.
Yeah, that's the one I'd be hopeful for, is getting Mewtwo's actual origin.
Because I remember that was the extended version, that was on the initial DVD release of Mewtwo Strikes Back, and I don't think we ever got that again.
That's gorgeous, by the way.
It is. It's one of the most remote ones.
One of my big recommendations, if you like Mewtwo and you like Pokemon, you like not necessarily darker, but definitely more, I don't know, like a surreal tale from Pokemon. Check out that full intro mini movie that they had.
Because that was actually that was actually the prologue of the Japanese version of the first movie, correct?
Yeah.
That's the one where you see Mewtwo in that armor from Giovanni's gym and all that, right?
Sort of.
You see him actually being a young clone and interacting with the scientist's daughter, and
oh, okay, never mind. I'm thinking of something different.
They had an actual episode in the anime where Mewtwo's in the armor. But this preview thing it's almost like a dream. It's really strange and really sad. Also, I'm looking up the Pokemon Blu-ray and it's telling me nothing. My guess would be that it's just those three movies and nothing else. Yeah. But even that is nice, just to be able to see them in their nicest form. Mm-hmm. Especially, as we all know, true top-tiered best Pokemon movie, the movie 2000.
Oh yes. Yes, this man gets it.
The thing that fuels 1,000 Poke shippers.
I like 2000 though, but I gotta say, I think 3 is the most legitimately good of the original.
I'm with Emil. 3 is so good.
3 is the most legitimately good, I think.
3 doesn't have Lugia's song though. I mean, come on.
Well, I just mean, 3 covers some really dark themes, and it does it surprisingly well and really tactfully as well. And it's also really entertaining. The fight scenes were amazingly
oh my gosh, having that
directed.
Charizard fight, oh my god, that was so great to see.
Yeah.
It's definitely a solid trilogy, though. I was just trying to watch the newest Pokemon movie, and they're all the same now. They're all one big Pokemon gets into a giant fight, and for some reason, every legendary is there. First 5 minutes into the Hoopa movie, Hoopa clears out 5 legendaries at once. It's Reshiram, Zekrom, Regigigas, I think Kyogre and Groudon are there. He just wrecks them all and then yells, "Hoopa is strong!" And I just get that eye twitch moment. Like, oh no, what have they done?
I haven't seen Hoopa in the Clash of Ages though, but the last one I remember really liking was 10, which was Darkrai.
Oh, that one's fun, except for the creepy long Darkrai legs. It bothers me too much.
To be honest, I haven't watched a full Pokemon movie since 4, because 4 just turned me off completely.
4 Celebi, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
if that's the case, you haven't seen Ash kissing Latias, so you know.
Oh, yeah.
No, I have not seen that.
Pokemon. That was Pokemon Heroes, I believe. Yeah, that one's weird. That one's very weird.
I am kind of interested in going back and just watching all the movies. Like, I haven't watched the anime since in a huge amount of time either, but just watching the movies and getting a sense of all of them, because that's really all I need to see.
Well, the at least the old episodes of the anime are on Netflix now, so you can watch that whenever. I'm wondering if they're gonna do the other movies in a digital version sometime later in the year. I think they'd probably be, I'm sorry, physical version later in the year. I think they'd be foolhardy not to, because every generation of Pokemon has its fans. Every generation is someone's first, so there will be somebody who will shell out money for like movies 4, 5, and 6 of Pokemon, movies 7, 8, 9, so on and so forth. So I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll end up doing it, but maybe if, for example, the first the 3-pack Pokemon, either Blu-ray or DVD. It looks like they'll have it both as a DVD and a Blu-ray. But I hope if that does well, that they'll distribute some of their other movies. But looking through the wording that they have, I think only the first 3 will be digitally remastered, which is kind of a bummer, but it's at least something.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, would the later movies need it as much though? Because the
yeah, there's a point where it'll hit 16:9 again. So maybe those are the only ones that need it.
I'd have to go back and look at them to see which one needs what, though.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to Pokemon, that's the funny thing. But I guess the main aspect is the games. And so far, all they've announced for 2016 as far as games is Pokemon Go and Pokkén Tournament. And Go is probably going to be huge.
No doubt.
You know, I'm trying to enter it cautiously optimistic. I think everyone on Earth should at least know that it will never be as cool as the trailers make it look.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because the trailers don't show any actual gameplay. It's just a mock-up, really.
Yeah, There's 100 people in New York all screaming at a Mewtwo, and I don't think that's going to happen in real life. If I tell everyone that hasn't played Ingress, give Ingress a shot. You might not like it, and if you don't like it, start getting that as your expectation of Pokemon Go just to be safe. But that was the first game that Niantic Labs did. I think it's interesting. It's sort of this community building game that uses real life locations, and there's sort of this grid-based attack and defense system. But it's not this like big integrated single player campaign, which every Pokemon game that most people have played are familiar with. So I don't know what it's going to be. It could be awesome. But it's not going to be you seeing Pokemon flying around you in real time and fighting them that way. But it has the highest potential, I think, of any Pokemon game in a long time, just because of the sheer availability of the platform.
I think it's pretty much confirmation that the Pikachu detective game is dead in the water, though.
Oh, that thing, they took that out back. and
they put it down.
Yeah, everyone was so creeped out by it.
Yeah, I want to know the board meeting that they had where they're like, hey, you know what? What if Pikachu could talk? And they're like, okay, well, we've had him do the cute, like, Pika-Pee before. And they're like, no. I mean, like, the full alphabet. I want full speech from Pikachu. But I also want it facially mapped to a human. We really need that technology.
It's really funny that... Sorry.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny. Recently in an interview, Pikachu's voice actor, for those that don't know, it's the same voice actor across all the releases, because Pikachu has the same name in every region, so they just reuse the Japanese audio. Pikachu's dialogue in everything is actually written. Like, it's the same number of syllables of what it would take to, like, say that in Japanese. So, like, for instance, when Pikachu is saying Togepi, it goes PPP, so it sounds like Togepi.
I think Pika-Pee is supposed to be Satoshi or Ash.
Something.
Yeah, you can translate it, although the only one you're ever going to really understand is that one really old episode where they had the giant Pokemon.
Oh yeah, they
where I
actually
think they
translated all their
where they
dialogue.
had subtitles.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that the reason why Pikachu's dialogue is written and why it's accurate to what it would be syllable-wise to say that in Japanese is that they actually had said that when the anime had begun, their plan was to make it so that Pokemon would start off just saying their names and they would gradually learn how to talk. And that was why they did that, was because Pikachu would gradually stop saying, Pika P, and, would actually start saying syllables of a language. And then they dropped that concept. Meowth was a leftover from that stage, and they decided to keep him in the show in its finished state.
Huh.
So I thought that was interesting that the Pikachu Detective game, it's similar to that, but...
Talking Pokemon can work. If you've ever played a Mystery Dungeon game.
Yes.
It's but I don't know if facially mapped talking Pokemon was the best way to go. But yeah, it is interesting. We don't have any major developments in games aside from the ones that we've heard about for a while now, Pokkén and Go. But I have sort of reserved, not necessarily hopes, but just suspicions that we're going to see something related to Pokémon Z.
Pokemon Z is the anime is named Z. The next season of the anime is named. It is almost certainly going to happen. I don't know what changes they'll make to the story, if they'll try to make it more like Black and White 2 as opposed to your traditional Yellow or Crystal re-release. But I think it's a given. I don't think we'll get any news on a brand new Pokemon game, a Gen 7 or whatnot, until next year though. I think it's still a little bit too early. But that's
Pokemon's been very they've followed this same formula forever because it works. You release the games. Maybe you have a remake. They've done the remakes with complete consistency now. So this game, remake, alternate version for pretty much every generation going back until the third. Mm-hmm. And I tried to scatter plot out the data. I really wanted to see if I could crack some Pokemon code. It didn't 100% work, but in general, going back to Diamond and Pearl, or at least going back to Platinum, they seem to announce their games. They used to be Japan-only announcements, but now the video games are sort of these global releases. But regardless of when they've released it, it's almost always between January and April that they seem to announce their games. Sometimes May, but it's always within that first quarter. So I feel like if we end up going past May and don't hear anything, we might not actually be getting a game. But I feel like just because February is their big day, especially February 27th, my money is on a February 27th they'll announce Pokemon Z. Just seems to make the most sense with all there's forms out there, the Zygarde, Core, 10%, 50%, all that beautiful stuff. I can actually see those forms as individual Pokemon in Pokemon Picross, for example. You can make those, but you can't find them in a video game. So they definitely want those forms in something. I just feel like it's inevitable.
Yeah. Do you guys think it'll be Z, or do you think they'll go with the Black and White route and just do X and Y too?
Considering that a lot of things are already called Z, I think it's going to be Z. The other thing is that a lot of people are, saying, God, we've gone so long without a game announcement. It really has not been the longest. I think it was that Diamond Pearl 2 Platinum was the longest, and for us to equal that, we would have to not hear anything until July.
And that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And, other franchises are just looking at Pokemon fans guys, it's been a year. Come on, you can wait a little bit more.
I don't mind it if a game series takes a year or two off. I think it's nice. I
think it's necessary to keep things fresh because I liked Gen 6, but I kind of felt that it was missing something intangible to me. So I think taking some time between games was a necessary step for them. So yeah, I was actually really glad that we didn't get something rushed out last year. That probably would have ended up being subpar.
Yeah, it's weird because Pokemon is in this strange territory where they probably could release anything. It could be hot garbage, and fans would still buy it because it's Pokemon. Some would even argue, I'm not necessarily in that camp, but there are some people that are actually really negative about X and Y in the 6th generation. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I think we're finally reaching that point where I don't want to say it's stagnated, but there's just so much Pokemon that you can still play. And so to continually get it over and over again with a similar interface I think is overwhelming. So I'm always cool if Nintendo says, hey, we don't need a Pokemon main series game every single year. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I just hope what we do get is interesting in some new way. Whether it's new mechanics. That's one thing I actually did really like about the 6th generation, is they at least tried a lot of new stuff, whether it was like the Hordes or Mega Evolutions or Pokemon main. I like more innovations like that.
Yeah, it's nice to see them definitely taking forwards, and I think it's going to be eye-opening to some people to go back to the original games and see really how much has changed from first gen.
Oh, yes.
It is a
wide
berth.
There's people that are going to get these virtual console releases and be sorely disappointed, I think.
I mean, Gen 1, I love Gen 1, but if I'm going to go back to experience Kanto, I'm always playing Fire Red or Leaf Green, because Red, Blue, and Yellow has issues. I'm just gonna say that. You can look up all of the hilarious and I mean, granted, some of the programming quirks of Gen 1 led us to some of the most legendary game glitches of all time, like Glitch City, Missing No, the Mew glitch, so on and so forth. But watching speedruns of Pokemon is also hilarious, because you can get to the Elite Four in like under an hour. It's hilarious. So
that's a question I have for people, and I've gotten like almost a complete 50-50. With these virtual console releases, do you want them to keep the glitches and like super inadequate programming, or should they fix them?
No, it needs to be kept, I think. Just because people are going to try to do the Missing No glitch, and if it doesn't work, they're going to be sad. So that's just
that would be sad. I want Missing No.
I feel like people would be disappointed if they fixed them, though, but prior to this being announced, I remember the reason why I never thought these would come out on Virtual Console is I thought it would be straight up that, for one, they wouldn't bother with the multiplayer, because this is the first time Nintendo's doing handheld Virtual Console multiplayer ever. That's never been a thing in their other Virtual Console releases of handheld games. They went out of their way to do that, but the other reason is that I'm like, Pokemon Red and Blue would never meet standards of quality for game releases in 2016.
Yeah.
They would never meet standards of quality. They would get rejected for publishing and put back to the drawing board if they tried to release that nowadays, because they are very, very buggy games if you get right down to it. And I just feel like that for things like that, it wouldn't be okay. I feel like that it definitely would be more work, though, than just porting it. But I feel like it wouldn't terribly take a long time to recreate the game with new programming under the hood, but on the surface, it looks and plays like the original in every way other than having the glitches.
Yeah, I've seen people make a case for that, too. Mm-hmm. I think I'd be fine with that still.
It wouldn't be the first time, though, because you remember, like, Sonic CD HD a few years ago did that, where they did new programming with a new engine, so it wouldn't have the slowdown that the original Sonic CD had, and it would play a lot more like Sonic 1 and 2. And then eventually they used that same engine to do HD of Sonic 2, and I think even Sonic 3, maybe?
No, not Sonic 3. People get very salty that Sonic 3 never got a port.
I am so sorry for bringing up a really salty thing, though, but yeah, I know that they did it for Sonic 2, but it would not be the first time that they did new programming to make a game look and feel like the old game, but have issues fixed.
Yeah, but really all that just makes me want is Gen 2, because Gen 2, I mean, it has its glitches, but it works way better than Gen 1 does, so, also Gen 2 is best gen, so, there's that. Well, maybe not best gen, I go back and forth between it and Gen 5 a lot, but it's the one I have the most memories with, so I want that on the Virtual Console. That's my 2016 hope.
Yeah, it's weird. I do eventually want it. I want it just so that they can simply preserve it. It is a pain in the butt for most of the original, especially the Game Boy ones, having to replace the internal battery.
Yeah, I lost my level 100 Typhlosion because my battery died, and it was a really sad day when I figured out that happened.
Most people did not know by the time their batteries died. If you go back, maybe I'm breaking hearts right now, reminding you, oh hey, check your original cart, see if it's still there. It probably isn't. So I'm happy to see it in terms of like an archive. Like, here's the history of Pokemon. It exists here in digital format, and it can never die now. Unless they shut down the eShop in 50 years or whatever it is. Which, it's at least another way to help these things live on, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Also, as much as I love the Game Boy. If you don't have up to an SP, it's impossible to see a screen that isn't backlit.
Yeah.
So that's, or you know, like SP or the DS. So it's just nice to have it in another clean digital screen. But I'm a little worried that it's my rose-colored goggles are gonna fall off very quickly, realizing, oh man.
Gen 2 actually holds up in its 8-bit form a lot better than you might think.
Well, the thing that kills me there is I love Heart Gold Soul Silver so much.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It might be hard to go back. And that's like you were saying for Fire Red Leaf Green. Like, that exists too. So I'm excited to see these things come out. I think it's just going to be funny, though, seeing some of these new Pokemon fans. You could be, you know, older than 10 years old and be born after Pokemon by a good deal. And you might want to play some of these old school games to say, like, oh, hey, I'm going to learn the history of Pokemon. And you might be disappointed. That worries me. Trust me, it was really cool at the time.
They got addicted to this?
You couldn't trade with your friends and exchange all this data at once. You don't know what it was like.
Hey guys, remember how long Link cable battles took? Like,
Oh, God.
you needed to set aside like an hour if you wanted to battle somebody.
It had to
was great.
load every individual action.
I think there's going to be at least a little bit of optimization in the game, at least for that, at least for the multiplayer. But as far as like, keeping the glitches and stuff, I have a feeling they're not going to improve any of that, and I don't really know if they should, because we are preserving the game as it was. We have the remakes if we want a non-buggy Gen 1.
Yeah, that's my favorite explanation. It's like, well, if I want to play Red and Blue with the missing no, I have that. Or if you want to play an actual, like, pretty technologically sound version, they also made one of those in the early 2000s.
But yeah, I mean, we've talked for almost an hour now about this 20th anniversary, and there's just so much that this series has to offer just this year, which is incredible. But is there anything left that you guys wanted to talk about that you wanted to think we haven't covered yet?
I have just one hope, and it really is actually a far dream. Once upon a time, it didn't seem very unreasonable. Now it sort of is starting to. I want just one somewhat traditional Pokemon experience on the Wii U. I think that dream is going to be dead when you consider how quickly the NX is coming up. But we've gotten at least...
You're talking about something like Pokemon Coliseum.
Yes. I don't even know if it needs to be a Coliseum. It could be like a stadium. I know everybody hates it and I'm not thrilled about it, but even a Pokemon Battle Revolution, I just like being able to play Pokemon and see the attacks in a big format, and I felt like this being the first opportunity to see Pokemon in HD would be really nice. Now we're only going to get a select few Pokemon through Pokkén Tournament, which is going to be awesome, but it's not the same as being able to see your whole cast of 700 in big 3D models. So I would love to see them get something on the Wii U, if not the Wii U, early NX, that would be great. Or in my wildest dreams, they realize the potential of the gamepad and Pokemon Snap. And
if only.
that's going to be the number one, my biggest Wii U regret, is them
Missed opportunity? Yes.
The biggest missed opportunity.
Never
I
got
just want
Pokemon
like some Pokemon battles on the big screen that aren't something on the side, like a fighting game.
That's the weird thing about the Wii U, is that the only two Pokemon games that have appeared on it is that Pokemon Rumble World, I believe it was, and Pokkén Tournament. No other Pokemon games on the Wii U, which is extremely weird. Usually there's at least some kind of, like, we didn't even get a Pokemon Channel 2.
Sad. Yeah, I mean, even the Wii had things like Poké Park, a couple Poké Parks, you know? And I think part of that just speaks to the fact that the Wii U, like, in general, has not had extremely strong sales, and I think that's why Pokemon is trying to keep all of their games on the 3DS, because that is, like, the most owned current-gen Nintendo platform. But I would love to see them put something over to the Wii U every now and then, beyond just a very small amount of side games.
When it comes to the Wii U, I suppose a GBA Virtual Console release of like the original Ruby Sapphire Emerald or Fire Red and Leaf Green would be cool, but then they'd also have the same hurdle that they had with Gen 1 Pokemon where people are going to want to trade and people are going to want to battle and so on and so forth. And especially since it's Gen 3, people are going to want to be able to pull those up. So I'm not sure how likely those are, but I think that would also be cool for 20th anniversary.
If we're talking pie in the sky stuff, the one thing I think a lot of fans have really wanted for Pokemon is being able to revisit previous locations, because ever since they did that in Gold and Silver, everybody's always wanted to be able to revisit, and to just have that one game like where you can like maybe just start in Kanto and work your way through all of the different areas and their leagues and whatnot, and just seeing how these places have evolved or look now would be huge. And
the fabled 70 badge game.
Yes.
Go through everything.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be cool, especially considering the fact that in most Pokemon games, by the time you reach the champion, you're like maybe between level 40 and 60, depending on the game. There are very few games where you have like trainer battles and wild battles at like level 80. You normally have to grind to get that high. So one, it would be easy to get Pokemon that high level. That's awesome. And two, like, come on, that would just 70 badges. That would just be cool.
It's the Ash Ketchum story. Each time you go to a new region, you just get a new starter and start up the thing again.
No. I'm taking all my Pokemon with me. You see, like, I've got a Charizard here. I'm not gonna downgrade from that. Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, I think that covers it for our Pokemon 20th anniversary discussion. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Josh, where can they find you at?
You can find me over at youtube.com/thejwitz. It's pretty much the Jwitz everywhere else, Twitch, and things like that, except for Instagram, which I never use. That one's just Jwitz, because the Jwitz wasn't taken already, like on everything else. But don't even follow me on Instagram anyways, because I never use it.
I don't know the point of Instagram, to be honest, so there you go.
Square pictures, man.
There you go. Chugga, what about you?
YouTube.com/Chuggaaconroy, 2 G's, 2 A's. Also Twitter, Facebook, any of those places.
Currently doing your Pokemon Platinum playthrough, right?
Yes.
Yes. And Ted?
You can find me on Twitter as @XNShadow, and also you can get videos from me almost every day on BrainScratchComms on YouTube. Currently, we're doing a Pokemon Heart Gold Nuzlocke live stream every Friday at around 6 p.m. Eastern, so you should watch that because it's pretty fun stuff. So yeah.
See how many of your Pokemon die.
Oh, we had one die in our first session. It was really sad. 421 the Bellsprout will live on in our hearts. So.
And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.